Good afternoon and welcome to the Lincoln City Council meeting of June 10th, 2024. In accordance with LB 898, please be advised that a copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted at the back of the chamber by the northwest door. Let us all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a brief period of silent meditation, and please remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The order of business of the City Council is as follows. The clerk will call the items listed on the agenda. Under public hearing, anyone wishing to speak on an item should come forward after the clerk reads that item. The council shall require any member of the public desiring to address the council to identify themselves, the name of an organization or a group if they are representing one, including an address. The address requirement may be waived to protect the security of the individual. The applicant may then make one short rebuttal. Each speaker should begin by stating the name of their address and organization, and whether you are speaking in favor or in opposition to the item. After all public hearings, the council will vote on resolutions and items listed under third reading. On the second and last Mondays of the month, immediately prior to adjournment, anyone may speak on an issue not on the agenda for that date nor planned for a future agenda. This is one of those meetings. I ask that everyone who speaks in that moment on the agenda, please do so with respect, civility, and decorum. Will the clerk please call the first item of business?
Our first item of business today for our council agenda, Monday, June 10th, 2024, is a reminder that due to the Juneteenth and Independence Day holiday, City Council will not meet on June 17th and July 1st. Next on our agenda would be our consent agenda, sections 1, sections 2, and sections 3.
All right. Is anyone here to speak on items on the consent agenda? Welcome.
Good afternoon, Councilwoman Washington and all other council members. Kay Wenzel, I'm the Assistant Director at Aging Partners, 600 South 70th, Building 2, Lincoln, 68510. Have to get that new address rolling off our tongues after a year. I am here to request the reappointments of Gloria Aaron and Tammy Burton-Ficker to the Aging Partners Advisory Council for 3-year terms to expire June 30, 2027. Ms. Aaron has been an engaged member of our council for several years, since 2015, and she's also currently being considered for the statewide Aging Advisory Committee as an appointment by Governor Pillen. Her long history on serving on our board and other nonprofit and advisory commissions brings vast knowledge to our council, as well as her business acumen. Ms. Burton-Ficker is completing her first term with our advisory council and has been elected incoming chair of the council. Her background is as a licensed medical nutrition therapist and consulting dietitian to several long-term care facilities, including nursing facilities and assisted livings. So that experience brings really nice expertise and consultation to us for our congregate and home delivered meal programs, critical to our clients. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Wenzel. Both the applicants seem incredibly well qualified, and especially Ms. Aaron, we all appreciate her long service and dedication to the board. Do any members have questions or comments? All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty. Is anyone else here to speak on an item on the consent agenda? All right, seeing no other presentations, would anyone like to speak either in favor or in opposition to an item on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, then we will proceed to the voting session.
I'll call item 1A, reappointing Gloria Aaron and Tammy Burton Ficker to the Aging Partners Area-Wide Advisory Council for terms to expire June 30th of 2027, introduced by Shob.
So moved.
Second?
Second, Beckius. Any comment? All right, let's proceed.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Shob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0.
All right.
Item 1B is setting the hearing date of Monday, July 8th of 2024 at 3 p.m. on the assessment of the cost incurred by the city for building demolition on property located at 826 H Street, 3317 North 51st Street, and assessment of fees and penalties for neglected buildings on property located at 3801 South 37th Street, 824 B Street, 2902 N North 41st Street, 7300 Briarhurst Drive, 1934 F Street, 1425 South 16th Street, 835 North 30th Street, 5727 Sailor, 2201 North 56th Street, and 3001 Q Street, and assess of fees and penalties for property cleanup and boardings on property located at 3801 South 37th Street, 5727 Sailor, 835 North 30th Street, 1511 South 2nd Street, and 7300 Briarhurst Drive, introduced by Weber.
So moved. Second?
Second, Beckius. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, let's vote.
Bowers,
Yes.
Shob,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 2A is introduced by Shob.
So moved.
Second?
Second, Weber.
Beckius,
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Any discussion? All right.
Beckius,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Shob,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. That concludes our consent agenda. We shall move on to section 4, which is our public hearing liquor resolutions. I'll call items 4A and 4B together. Items 4A and B is application of Kinseth Hotel Corporation doing business as Residence Inn for a Class C liquor license located at 5865 Bobley Lane, and the related manager application of Joshua F. Gendera.
All right. Is the applicant here? Yes. All right. Please come on down. Either microphone is fine. Just state your name. Oh, are you Joshua
Yes.
Gendera? Oh,
My name is Joshua Giandra. I am with Kinseth Hospitality and the general manager at the Residence Inn off of 5865 Boboli Lane.
all right. Madam Clerk, would you like to swear him in?
Oh, excuse me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth as you really believe it to be?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. Would you tell us a little bit about your application?
Yep, so we currently do have a license to sell just beer. We are a long-term stay hotel, and we do get a lot of business people in during the week. And we are very close to a lot of the wedding venues on the weekends, and so we do get quite a few wedding guests in. And we do get a lot of requests for wine, so that is mostly the reason why we want to upgrade our license.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Well, thank you. We'll wait and see if there are any comments from the public, then
Okay,
we'll move along.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Is anyone here to speak in favor or in opposition to this application? All right. Let's move on.
I'll call items 4C and D together. Items 4C and D is application of Julie Rule doing business as Dry Bar for a Class I liquor license located at 2900 Pine Lake Road, Suite F, and the related manager application of Julie Ann Rule.
All right, please come forward.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please raise your right hand.
Yep,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth as you really believe it to be?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. And then just for the record, Ms. Rule, would you please state your name and your address?
Yes, sure. I am Julie Rule. I'm the shop owner of Dry Bar at 2900 Pine Lake Road, Suite F.
Would you explain just a little bit about your business? I think it's a new business type. And
Absolutely, yes. I am the, like I said, the shop owner. We're a premier blowout and styling business where customers can come in, they get their hair washed, blown out, and then styled. And we are hoping to offer one complimentary beverage as part of that service, being either a glass of wine or a glass of champagne.
Okay, all right. Any discussion? Any questions? All right. Well, are you open for business yet?
We will be open on Friday, this Friday, June 14th.
All right. All
Yes,
right. Best of
exciting.
luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Is anyone here to speak in favor or in opposition to this application? All right. Seeing none, let's move forward.
I'll call items 4E and F together. Items 4E and F is application of Line Associates LLC doing business as Hampton Inn Suites Lincoln, South Heritage Park for Class C liquor license located at 5922 Vandervoort Drive and the related manager application of Donna R. Baker.
All right. Is the applicant present? Hey, I have a question if Planning Director David Carey is available. I have a question about this application. We'll give him a moment. I might have asked you to come up a little too soon because I
Yeah.
saw the word H. The word began with an H and was Hampton, not Holiday.
I'll be right in the back.
So please come back, pardon me. All right. I hope you're getting your steps in today. Pardon me. All right. So that was the Hampton Inn and Suites. Applicant's not present. We'll move on.
Is there anyone here to testify on items
Oh, right.
4E
Is
and
it?
F?
Thank you. See no one.
Okay, I'll move on to items 4G and H. Items 4G and H is application of Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill LLC doing business as Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill for a Class C liquor license located at 3111 Northwest 12th Street and the related manager application of Julie Replogle.
Is the applicant present? All right, thank you. Let's move. Is anyone here to speak in favor or in opposition? We'll move ahead.
Okay. I'll call items 4I and 4J together. Items 4I and J is application of Meave Lodging LLC doing business as Holiday Inn Express and Suites for a Class C liquor license located at 2200 Wildcat Drive and the related manager application of Chloe M. Kramer.
All right. Is the applicant available? All right. We do have questions for you. Thank you, Director Carey.
Good afternoon, David Carey, Director of the Planning Department, 555 South 10th Street.
Wonderful. In reviewing this application, I saw that they're in an H3 zone and that they were told they needed a special permit.
Correct.
Can you explain a little bit about why they need that? And then, do you know if the applicant has applied for one?
Yes, so we do have a requirement for our several of our zoning districts to, not all, but several of our zoning districts to get a special permit for liquor sales, whether it's on sale or off sale. And so that is a typical process. We often have an application for the liquor license through the state to come through, and that often is when we get the first word on the fact that they're asking for a liquor license. And then we do coordinate with the applicant, as in this case, they have now applied for the necessary special permit, and it appears that they will qualify for that, so we will process that, likely be in front of you be at Planning Commission in July.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or discussion about this item? Councilman Shob.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Carey, thanks for coming forward. When this made it to our agenda, that application wasn't in place. And I think we as the council were prepared to deny this application. Maybe this is a question for our legal counsel also. So you said they have begun the process. I think, not my words, not your words. Would that change our application process? Should we continue as if we haven't seen the application for a special permit?
Correct.
You said that before the planning commission later in the month.
Correct.
So do we need to make accommodations for that, or should we just proceed with the evidence we have in front of us now?
In this case, I believe you can proceed with the evidence you have in front of you now because we have now received that application and we can confirm that they qualify for the special permit. It's a good example of there's some different processes here that are not always aligned with each other. It's more of an issue when we find out that a location doesn't meet the requirements of the special permit. In this case, that is not the case, so we don't have any concern with that.
Okay, the recommendation in front of us was to deny because we had not received the application.
Right.
Should we continue with our denial? That's my real question.
My understanding is that we do not need to deny this now, but it's a good example of trying to get those processes more aligned with
More
each other.
aligned, okay.
Should we delay it?
That's not an option before us, typically with liquor applications. But it appears, and now I'm going to say this, and I'm going to look at the attorneys in the room and the planning director while I say it, and you may correct me with facial expressions. I believe that we can proceed and we can actually pass this, we can approve this, and the processes will catch up with each other by the time they get to the state. Is that correct?
I'll see if any city attorney wants to say anything else
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Slowly creeping up behind you. I feel you're correct, though. that-
Yohansi Christie, City Attorney, 555 South 10th. I think that's correct. We have language in there that says it conditional in the draft approval that says it's conditional on a special permit. I think, or conditional upon them obtaining a special permit. And so I think that with this current circumstances, I think it would be all right to move forward. I know in the past, sometimes depending on the timing, we might not be recommending that today, but given what information Director Carey has and how the ordinance or how the application is worded, I think we'd be okay moving forward.
We would be making a conditional approval,
Correct.
and if any of the conditions are not met, the approval would vaporize, go away.
Yeah, in most cases, that's the case no matter what.
Yeah.
Because if they don't meet the requirements of the special permit, then they would not be able to operate, so.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you, Mr. Carey.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Christie.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Still thinking about it? There was.
Nope, I was just looking at.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak either in favor or opposition to this applicant? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed.
I'll call items 4K and L together. Items 4K and L is application of Landshark Realty Group LLC doing business as Tanks Country for a Class CK liquor license and a Class E Entertainment District license located at 350 Canopy Street. And the related manager application from Todd M. Moser.
Hi, good afternoon, council members. Jessica Greenwald, attorney for the applicant, 121 South 13th, Suite 800. Applicant is looking to open a second location in downtown Lincoln, currently has a sports bar in South Lincoln. Will be under sort of the same umbrella of not only management, but also employees, and looking to do, instead of a sports bar, country music, have a live country music venue there at least 3 nights a week, do some community line dancing lessons and the sort. So happy to answer any questions that any of you may have.
Any questions? Councilman Shob.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Greenwald, thank you for coming forward.
Sure.
I was a little confused on the location.
So it is right in between, it'd be Gate 25 and then Longwells. So it's in the rail yard there.
The public market space?
Correct. Yes. So it used to have the 4 bays and now it will become just one large space.
I was imagining it as the 4 bays and not thinking there's enough room for me to do line dancing in.
Yeah. Well, you can. We'll make room. We'll make room for you.
Thank you.
Sure. That leaves, you've left yourself wide open, but I'm not going to comment. Wow. Okay, line dancing with Councilman Shob. I love this.
Any other questions?
When do you expect to open?
I believe that the target date would be, I think is it July 25th? Is that right? 23rd. July 23rd would be ideal. So,
All right.
okay,
Good
great.
luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak on this application, either in favor or in opposition? All right, we'll move ahead.
I'll call item 4M, manager application of Becky J. Kellogg for Murphy Oil USA Inc., doing business as Murphy Express 8781, located at 3301 North 85th Street.
All right, is the applicant present? Would anyone like to speak in favor or in opposition to this application? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, let's move ahead.
I'll call item 4N, application of Tailwind LNK LLC, doing business as Tailwind LNK for an addition of 2 indoor areas, one on the first floor measuring approximately 65 feet by 38 feet, and the second floor measuring approximately 400 feet by 60 feet at 2400 West Adams Street.
All right. Is the applicant here? Would anyone like to speak in favor or in opposition? Seeing none?
Madam Chair, seeing no one else coming forward, and after having a healthy discussion on the items of zoning, I'd like to move approval of items 4A through 4M.
Second?
N is in November.
N is in November, second Beckius. Any discussion? All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. Beckius,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Shob,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Okay. We shall move on to section 5, public hearing resolutions. I'll call item 5A. Item 5A is approving the advertising agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of Lincoln Parks and Recreation and Benchcraft Company to provide revenue from the advertisements to all 5 municipal golf courses, including scorecards, benches, and other supplies and equipment for a 4-year term expiring June 30th of 2029.
All right. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Wade Foreman with Parks and Rec, Golf Facilities Operations Manager, 3131 O Street, Suite 300. The Parks and Recreation Department has contracted with Benchcraft Company for a number of years to manage advertising and supply products on the city's 5 golf courses, Jim Egger, Highlands, Holmes, Mahoney, and Pioneers golf courses. The current agreement in front of you mirrors past agreements with Benchcraft. Agreement is a 4-year term that will run from July 2025 through June 2029. Benchcraft will pay the city $20,000 annually and also provide the golf program with custom design scorecards, course guides, 81 cedar benches, 81 ball watchers, and 5 display boards. This has been a very good win-win public-private partnership for almost a decade. We've appreciated the work Benchcraft has done and the quality products they provided us for the golf courses. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions from councilmen? Well, this has been a very long-term project, and I know that they provide us a lot of services. Appreciate that.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, next item, 5B.
Is there anyone from the public?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Here I am being super efficient. Would anyone like to speak in favor or in opposition to this item? All right, we will now move forward.
Thank you. Item 5B is approving a LPA program agreement between the City of Lincoln and State of Nebraska Department of Transportation for the use of Federal Carbon Reduction Act funds for the Rock Island undercrossing at Old Cheney Road.
All right.
And I'd like to make a motion on this in regards to withdrawing it until they get the details of a new contract worked out.
Okay.
Second?
Second, Beckius. Is anyone, was anyone here today to speak on this item? If so, you may come forward in either favor or in opposition, and we'll take your testimony today. Otherwise, you will have another opportunity to speak when this item comes back to council. Seeing no one, we can proceed.
Weber,
He's exited the building for a moment. Skip him, he's not here.
oh, excuse me. Okay. Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
Withdrawn.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next item, 5C.
I'll call item 5C, approving the interlocal agreement between the City of Lincoln and Lancaster County for services provided by Aging Partners.
Welcome back.
Good afternoon again. Kay Wenzel, Assistant Director at Aging Partners, 600 South 70th Street, Building 2. I'm here regarding the interlocal agreement between the City of Lincoln and Lancaster County. The purpose is to bring up to date our agreement that outlines the partnership with Lancaster County in supporting aging partners. There were some changes related to making sure that our department name matches and adding clarification regarding federal regulations and including the referenced federal act, which is the Older Americans Act, into the contract or into the interlocal agreement. Add in language that states that the agreement does not create an employee-employer relationship with the county. And also, the county commissioners requested that their investment in Victory Park be included in the interlocal agreement. That sums up the changes for this update.
All right. Do any counselors have questions regarding this interlocal agreement?
All right, thank you.
Is anyone here today to speak on this item, either in support or in opposition? Seeing none, we can proceed.
I'll call item 5D, approving the fiscal year 24-25 annual action plan for HUD entitlement programs using community development block grants, home and emergency solution grant.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, council members. I'm Wynn Yermstead, Community Development Manager with the Urban Development Department, 555 South 10th. This document is required by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, that includes how we intend to spend those federal entitlement dollars that we get, which includes Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, Home and Emergency Solutions Grant Funds, or ESG. Lincoln is an entitlement city, which means we just get these funds. We don't have to apply for them, but we do have to tell HUD how we're going to use them, and we do have to get federal approval. The document before you is an executive summary. The actual submission to HUD is not user-friendly. It's web-based. It doesn't translate well to print, but it is on our website if you would like to see the whole thing. So Urban Development prepares the plan and administers these federal funds. We had a public involvement process to get input on community needs. The annual action plan is done every year. That's the annual, that says what we're going to do in the next fiscal year, which for us begins September 1 of 24. What we're going to do to meet the goals and work on the needs identified in the 5-year strategic plan. The 5-year strategic plan was adopted by City Council last year. So this action plan represents the second in 5 years. HUD's mandate for the use of these funds includes 3 statutory goals: to provide decent housing, a suitable living environment, and expanded economic opportunities, all primarily for low and moderate income people or in low and moderate income neighborhoods. And we do this in 3 broad areas: housing, community development, and homelessness. The majority of our funding goes for housing programs, but we do provide about $175,000 a year for livable neighborhoods, public improvements. We provide some funding to community crops. We provide some funding to a program called RentWise, which is sort of a housing program, I guess. Emergency Solutions Grant funds are passed through to homeless service providers, along with state matching funds for homelessness. Pages 5 through 7 list the projects for fiscal year 24, substantially the same for the upcoming year as they have been in the past. Our annual entitlement amounts, or the actual amount of grant funding that we'll get for CDBG, it's about $1.8 million. For home funds, a little over $1 million. And Emergency Solutions Grant, the homeless funding is about $164,000. So overall, the city receives about $3.1 million. We've had a public comment period and also had a public information meeting. Overwhelming need that we continue to hear is affordable, accessible, quality affordable housing, both rental and for home ownership. Throughout the coming year, we'll continue working on strategies identified in the Affordable Housing Coordinated Action Plan. And with your approval today, we will submit the action plan to HUD, and funds will be available on September 1st. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? All right.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is anyone here to comment on this, to speak either in favor or in opposition to this action plan for HUD funding? Seeing no one, we'll move ahead.
Okay, that concludes our public hearing on Section 5. We can now vote on these items. Item 5A is approving the advertising agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of Lincoln Parks and Recreation and Benchcraft Company to provide revenue from advertisements to all 5 municipal golf courses, including scorecards, benches, and other supplies and equipment for a 4-year term expiring June 30th of 2029. Introduced by Shob.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Beckius. Any discussion? Let's vote.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Shob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 5C is approving the interlocal agreement between the City of Lincoln and Lancaster County for services provided by Aging Partners, introduced by Shob.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Duden.
Thank you, Tom.
Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Shob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 5D is approving the fiscal year 24-25 annual action plan for HUD entitlement programs using Community Development Block Grants, Home and Emergency Solution Grant, introduced by Shob.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Beckius.
Oh.
Any discussion? All right, seeing none, let's vote.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Shob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0.
All right, thank you. Let us move on to the next section, public hearing, ordinances, second reading, and related resolutions.
Okay. I'll call items 6A and 6B together. Item 6A is approving the real estate exchange agreement between the City of Lincoln and the County of Lancaster for property within the block bounded by 8th and 9th J and K Streets, and the related comprehensive plan conformance 24008 and fiscal year 23-24 CIP amendment, declaring approximately the city's 50% ownership interest in the property generally located at 555 South 9th Street as surplus, and amending the fiscal year 23-24 CIP to authorize and appropriate $155,000 from the Advanced Land Acquisition Fund for the permanent supportive housing for a chronically homeless project at 8th and J Streets.
Good afternoon, Abby Luttrell, Law Department, 555 South 10th Street. So before you today is an exchange agreement, it's a property exchange agreement with Lancaster County involving 2 properties, 3 actually, right across the street here between 8th and 9th, J and K Street. The 802 building is a parking lot right now. 955 South 9th is the old Aging Partners building. City and county each have a 50% ownership in these 2 parcels. The county currently owns the entire alley. So what this exchange agreement does is
city exchanges its entire interest in the Aging Partners building, and county in exchange will give its interest in the 802 parcel and the alley to the city. There was a delta between the value of what the county was getting and what the city is getting. So what the agreement before you does is set forth the consideration that the city will give to the county for that unequal exchange. And that is from...
Abby, can you reorient?
Yeah, would you
Oh,
mind
I'm sorry
twisting
about
it
that.
just? Perfect.
Thank you.
There will be an allocation, or we are asking for approval of an allocation of $155,000 from the Advanced Land Acquisition Fund. And that will go in this order to demolishing the Aging Partners building. I believe that the county intends to use that just as additional parking, and the building itself has minimal value. The city will also replace and relocate the existing driveway off of J Street. It will be for joint use between the two properties. That will coincide with a final plat that's in process right now. City will do that on behalf of the county, and then the county will install new security equipment for its parking structure. And after those two are complete, if there are any funds left over, city will reimburse the county for its cost to stripe the parking lot. The related item is the ordinance declaring the property the city's interest that it is exchanging in the Aging Partners building as surplus. That's something that's required by our charter, and also authorizing the finance director to appropriate the funds from Advanced Land Acquisition to pay for those three items that are in the exchange agreement.
All right.
And I can answer any additional questions you may have.
Does anyone have questions?
Oh, ma'am.
All right, seeing no questions, we can move ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak on this item, either in favor or in opposition? Seeing no one, we'll proceed.
I'll call item 6C, street name change 24001, application of the City of Lincoln to change the name of West Monroe Street to West Monroe Court due to the proposed cul-de-sac on the property generally located at east of Southwest 44th Street and West Monroe Street.
David Carey, Director of the Planning Department, 555 South 10th Street. Thank you for some time today on this item. This is an item where really kind of shows how we really have to make sure we dot the I's and cross the T's on some things. We have, I'm going to put the map up because it's going to really help explain this well. We have a short segment of called currently West Monroe Street that here we are with West O Street and Southwest 44th Street. This segment was platted back in 1887, I believe, with the original Cushman plat, and it's been obviously there as far as a named street, but not a street in use for many, many years. We also then had, a couple years ago, the approval of the preliminary plat for the Advantage Trucking Addition that's going to have a project out here, which platted out and plans for a cul-de-sac. The specifics are that a cul-de-sac in our ordinance requires those streets to be named either a circle, a court, a place, or a bay. And so what we need to do is this as a cleanup item, to change the existing West Monroe Street to match the West Monroe Court that was part of the newer plat. And that way it's obviously one name and it is one cul-de-sac. This was before the street naming committee. They do recommend this approval to make the change of this small segment from West Monroe Street to West Monroe Court. This type of street name change does not need to go to the Planning Commission, so it is before you for your consideration. I can answer any questions you might have.
Does anyone have any questions? Well, I have to ask one question because I know whenever we have a street name change that we always make certain that we know how many people are being affected by this. Has anyone ever had Madison Street as their address, or Monroe Street as their address?
I think there are other segments of Monroe Street, east and west, but this does not impact anyone other than those that are involved in this activity right now. So.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much. Is anyone here to speak in favor or in opposition to this item? Seeing none, we'll move ahead.
Excuse me, I'll call item 6D, text amendment 24005. Request of the City of Lincoln Planning Department to amend Lincoln Municipal Code Section 27.06.020, classification of use types to allow more than one main use on a lot or tract in the R1, R2, R3, and R4 zoning districts for a place of religious assembly, and by amending Section 27.67.040, parking requirements, special conditions to allow other primary uses located on a lot or tract with a place of religious assembly to base required parking on the largest parking requirement of any single use.
Good afternoon, David Carey, Director of the Planning Department, 555 South 10th Street. Before you now with a little bit meatier item. Happy to be here to provide for your consideration a text amendment to our code. This really is meant to allow for more flexibility, more opportunity for early childhood care as well as for private schools. We've had a few different opportunities to try to find some flexibility for some existing operators. And we identified that there is a restriction in our code that we are suggesting should be changed to allow for more opportunity in places of religious assembly. So in a general sense, think of churches that either may or may not be active, but can be both active churches as well as closed down, but have the opportunity to house these types of operators of very important services to our community. We know that early childhood care is an underserved activity in our community, and we need to provide as much opportunity as possible for that. What this does is it allows for, currently, a place of religious assembly certainly has and can provide their own child care, but we've had several instances where we have private operators that aren't affiliated with the church, but have an opportunity to use space in an existing church, often at a cheaper rate than what commercial zoning facilities or buildings might require. And so this is a way for the city to provide a little bit more flexibility, a little more opportunity for those important services in our community. This specifically would allow for places of religious assembly, so limited to that activity, in the R1 through R4 zoning districts, so in the residential lower density zoning districts, for an additional use. So right now there's a limitation on one primary use in the R1 through R4. This would allow for additional uses. Specifically for early childhood care, excuse me, dwellings for religious orders, urban gardens, as well as private schools. So it is meant to be a kind of a limited change to really allow for the opportunity for those uses that we've already identified as a community in our comprehensive plan and in a general sense as important. And so the other piece to this would allow for a little bit of a break on the parking that's required right now. Without the changes proposed before you, they would have to allow for parking for all the different uses. What we're saying is that there's a uniqueness to places of religious assembly, that they're not always active, they're not always filling up their parking lot, other than when religious activities are happening, which are often in the evening or on weekends. These uses that we're trying to provide flexibility for typically operate during the business day, during the week. So there's an opportunity there to allow for a break in the required parking that would really just identify the largest single use and then make sure the parking is provided for that. So typically, maybe not always, typically that would be for the church itself. Oftentimes that parking is already provided on a site like this. So it does provide a break for these services to be able to not only have this opportunity in this type of a location now, but also not have to have the cost of the additional parking requirement. So with that, I'll stop. I think you've noticed that there's several letters of support for this. I think this is something that makes a lot of sense. Planning Department supports this. This was approved by the Planning Commission unanimously, and I can answer any questions that you have.
Does anyone have questions? Councilman Shoub.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Carey, thanks for coming forward. Members of our community asked me about this, and I said, gee, I don't know. And I went to you, and you explained it to me, and then you stated that maybe this is an opportunity for us to be more flexible, and I'd like to applaud you on that, on being responsive to our residents and also finding solutions, getting to the win. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Director Carey, I noticed that, I did notice that it was a unanimous decision by the Planning Commission and that you had no opponents at the hearing. I was curious if you received any letters in opposition to this item.
We have not received any letters of opposition, no.
All right, well, you're right in noticing that we've received a number of letters in support
Correct.
of this. So we'll have a chance to look at those letters in the next couple of days.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. If there's anyone here to speak on this item, you may come forward. If you're here to speak in support or in opposition, either one, please come forward and take one of the microphones. All right, seeing no one coming forward, we will move on to the next item.
I'll call items 6E and 6F together. Item 6E and F is annexation 24005, application of Planning Department to annex approximately 25.95 acres, more or less, generally located at the southeast corner of West Old Cheney Road and Southwest 12th Street, and the related change of zone 24012, application of Southwest Folsom Development, LLC, to change the zone from AG Agriculture District to R3 Residential District on approximately 10.66 acres, more or less, and change of zone from AG Agriculture District to R4 Residential District on approximately 12.06 acres, 12.06, generally located at the southeast corner of West Old Cheney and Southwest 12th Street.
Good afternoon, members of the council. Danae Kalkowski appearing today on behalf of Southwest Folsom Development. The two applications that we have before you today for annexation and changes of zone are really just the next phase of development for the Southwest Village Heights development. You might recall they're kind of located basically south of West Old Cheney, kind of between Southwest 12th Street and then clear over here, South Folsom Street. We've started the development kind of on the east side, moving toward the west. So the map in front of you today is the annexation request. Planning Department added in the 2 acreage properties that are adjacent to the Southwest Folsom property, so they're included in this annexation request. We're asking for the annexation and then change of zone. So we've got 2 changes of zone. We're asking for the R3 zone, which will allow the continuation of some of the single-family residential. And then we have about 12 acres of R4, which will allow us to do a community unit plan with a special permit that would allow some townhome development over here with, I think they're looking at both 2, 3, and 4 unit townhomes. We sent out letters to all of the neighbors and had personal visits with our clients with the 2 acreage owners. We had no opposition. We had unanimous support at the Planning Commission. So this is just really a nice continuation of an ongoing project, and adding the additional R4 area allows us to add another area with a little bit of additional density and get some more units in there at price points that seem to be pretty popular right now with some of our increased costs and interest rates. So just allows us more flexibility and more housing choices within a rapidly growing development. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. The community unit plan received final approval at Planning Commission, and there was no appeal to that. So, but you can kind of see the layout for that.
Okay. Any questions? Just one point of clarification. The 2 acreages, are they remaining in AG?
They are remaining in AG, so the zoning is not changing on those, although we have shown them kind of a concept map for how they could develop into the residential development at such time as they're ready to go.
Okay. Thank you very much. Is anyone here to speak either in favor or in opposition to this item? Anyone here to speak on this item? Seeing none, we will move forward.
Okay, that concludes our section 6 of the agenda. We shall move on to section 7, ordinances, third reading and related resolutions. Item 7A is approving the memorandum of understanding between the City of Lincoln, Lancaster County, and Lincoln, Lancaster County Public Building Commission and Capital Business Systems, Inc. on behalf of Rico USA, Inc. to lease Rico copy machines for a term to expire on January 25th, 2026, with the option to renew for 5 one-year term. Introduced by Carlson.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Schob. Beckius for Carlson. Any discussion? All right, let's vote.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 7B is change of zone 24011, application of the Lincoln Lancaster County Planning Department to change the zone from H1 Interstate Commercial Highway to H3 Highway Commercial District on property generally located at North 27th Street and Wildcat Drive, introduced by Carlson.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Schob. Any questions or discussion? Then let's vote.
Weber,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 7C is Comprehensive Plan Conformance 24009, application of PAR 72 LLC to review as to conformance with the 2015 Lincoln Lancaster County Comprehensive Plan to provide a conservation easement in the city's favor over the Phase 1 flood storage area within the Westview Planned Unit Development on a portion of the Outlot D on property generally located at West A and Southwest 36th Street, introduced by Carlson.
So moved.
Second.
Schob for Carlson, Beckius, second. Any discussion? All right, let's vote.
Weber,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Item 7D is approving the corporation warranty deed from the City of Lincoln to PAR 72 LLC for the property legally described as Lot 131 and Lot 132, irregular tracts located in the southwest quarter of Section 29, Township 10 North, Range 6, Lincoln, Lancaster County, Nebraska, introduced by Carlson.
So moved.
Beckius,
Second.
Schob. Any discussion? Let's vote.
Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. Okay. That concludes Section 7. Section 8 is resolutions, first readings, items 8A through 8D. Section 9 is ordinances, first reading, and related resolutions are items 9A through 9D. Our pending list is items 10A through 10J.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to remove items 10I and 10J from pending status and move to hearing and with continued public hearing and action scheduled for July 8th, 2024.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Duden. Right. Any discussion on this? Points of clarification?
My understanding is that the parties have reached agreement and are ready to proceed forward.
Wonderful. All right. Let's take that vote.
Schob,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you very much. All right. We are the second Monday of the month, and so this is a meeting that we welcome public comment. Anyone wishing to address the council on a matter not on this agenda, not planned to appear on a future agenda, may do so during this open microphone session. I ask again that if you are going to speak in this session, that you do so with civility and respect and decorum. Individuals are allowed a total of 5 minutes to speak, regardless of the number of topics. If there's anyone to speak, please come forward. Please state your name and your address.
Hello, my name is Anastasia Fenner. My address is a matter of public record, and I would like to waive that for my personal safety.
Okay.
It has been months that we have been coming here and begging you to do something. But recently, we have learned that the pier that the United States has been helping to build in Gaza has been used to do yet another massacre, killing over 270 people. Before then, there was a massacre at Rafah refugee camps. Tents where people were told that they would be safe were set on fire. Children had to stand by and watch as their parents burned alive while they could do nothing. So, I urge you, once again, to do something about a particular company that resides here in Lincoln. General Dynamics makes something called the MK80 series. Of those include MK84s and MK82s, both of which have had over 5,000 bombs dropped on Gaza. And that is only information that I have up until February. So at least double that could have happened by now. At what point do you actually be compelled to do something? At what point do children who come across my feed completely decimated? In what way do you deserve respect and decorum when your city is doing this? Do you see it, Duden? Benny, Brody, Sandra, James, Tom, do you see it? Do you see that this child who was killed within, I don't know, this week is dead because you have done nothing to stop it? You could you have the gavel. You could say something. You could use your platform to tell people to go to Operation Olive Branch. You could show people where to donate. You could join us. You could, I don't know, tax the ever-living daylights out of General Dynamics to the point where they no longer want to be here. Why are you complicit? If you have ever asked yourself, what would you do if you knew there was a genocide going on? Well, you're doing it right now. You're sitting on your hands, facilitating another genocide with your HP laptops that's going on in Congo. Do you not understand that you sit here to be the pencil pushers of genocide? You guys are going to be the ones in the most trouble if the United States ever actually is held accountable, because you are the people who could have stopped the bleeding, because the bombshells are made here. We have confirmed that those bombs made in Nebraska have killed people, innocent people. We have violated the Geneva Convention, and you are continuing to do so. You are liable. You can be held responsible in a genocide. You have municipal control over General Dynamics. You can do something. Be creative. Are you not supposed to be the best minds that Lincoln has to offer? I mean, clearly you're not, because it's been 8 months of seeing babies beheaded. What's the smirk for, Brody? Is genocide funny to you? Would you like to see the child again? You seem very proud of yourself.
I think personal attacks are not called for.
Personal attacks are duly called for when you guys sit and do nothing and allow people to die. There are thousands of children who have been murdered. And also, you were a particular member of one of the most brutal organizations known in history, being the United States Police Force, who gets trained by the Israeli occupation force. So I don't really think that someone who's part of one of the most murderous organizations in the world has any right to say about what respect should or could be.
Time.
Free Palestine!
Hello, Truly 10020 White Pine Road. I'm here also to speak in favor of what she just said, that we need to remove General Dynamic permit to operate, to disapprove any expansion, and cut on ties of General Dynamics LCD, especially the Lincoln Manufacturer Council program. Remove their membership, not taking any money from them, not sending any people to work for them. So let's start with some basic math. Since October 2023, General Dynamics going from $219 for the price of the stock, going up to now is $294, last time I checked. During this,
Paper down a little bit. Thank you.
during the same amount of time, there's more than 15,000 kids got murdered by the products that they manufacture. So on average, $1 increase in their stock equal, can you guess? Around 189 kids got killed. Is it worth it? Is it something you want? Is it something you sit here and vote for? Since the last report of April 24th, for the first quarter of 2024, the revenue is $7 billion, 10.7 billion. Did they share any with you guys? Did they pay you any? How much did they pay you? If they didn't, then why do you have to sit here every Monday to endure all of the speech that we've been making? All of the gesture, everything we try, crying, yelling, shaming. Why? Did you ever ask yourself what the reason why I have to defend this company, the ridiculous company that making bombs to kill kids and make a whole lot of money, didn't even share a penny with me? Or they did, and how much did you worth for doing all of these? Throughout the whole course in October, maybe Sandra, you the only person that trying to make conversation with us. You may be the only person that I see you have a heart and some conscience, and better than any of these people that you're sitting with. They are maybe your colleague, but not your friends, not your family members, and especially you have no obligation to listen to them or agree with them. You have no obligation to agree with any of the higher official like Pete Rickett or Jeff Fisher. When I have one-on-one conversation with some of you, you did literally tell me that, oh, I hate my college. I hate them. I don't want to work with them, but I have to. And also you choose to be sitting here, so getting personal attack, and when you say personal attack, Duden, it means we shame you on something very personal about your shape, about your gender, something like that. Not about your attitude toward genocide. That's not personal. Here some other pictures that tell me this is not genocide. Tell me that is something you want to see. They are all kids who got killed and put in body bags. Are they anything different from your kids at home, from your grandchildren? Why do they have to endure all of these? This is a fetus, not even an infant or a baby. Got popped out from the mother bellies because of the bomb. I'm sorry, guys. There's a real beheaded baby, 18 months. Oh, and Nikki Haley signed a bomb that say, finish them. How humane is that? This picture is just from the 270 people got killed.
Oh, time.
Look at my eyes and say you do better.
Is there anyone left to speak?
Madam Chair, I move to adjourn.
Second?
Second, Beckius.
We already have a motion, a second on the floor.
We already have a motion and a second on the floor.
You're going to deny people their right to.
I
engage
don't,
with
I'm
citizens
not going to answer your question.
Because you're just doing it.
No, I am,
Just let them speak.
Let them speak.
There's a motion.
sir, we have, wait just a moment. Mr. Attorney, how do we let someone speak after a motion and a second have been? Please.
I think it can be withdrawn by unanimous consent, so.
What does that mean? How much time do we have
So you
here?
can-
No, don't,
It can be withdrawn by unanimous consent, so someone could move to withdraw
okay.
if there's unanimous consent.
Is there unanimous consent to move to withdraw for one more person to speak?
Madam Chair, we'll make a motion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shob. All right,
Need a second.
I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Beckius. All right. Madam Clerk?
I have to call the vote first, and then I'll start your time, so give me just a moment. Okay, thank you. Beckius,
Yes.
Duden,
No.
Bowers,
Just to be clear, so a vote yes allows another person to, okay, yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried, 5-1.
It's carried, but not unanimously. Just one moment, we don't have this very often. I will follow parliamentary procedures. This is in our rules in the charter.
My apologies, I may have misspoke when I said unanimous consent. There's times where that applies, but we can treat it like any other motion, and so the motion carries.
Thank you very much. Sir, you may speak.
Assalamu alaikum. That translates to peace be with you. My name is Yahya Muhij. I'll omit my address. I'm from Bosnia and I'm a genocide survivor. I'm here to call for a ceasefire and end to the occupation and demand an arrest of Benjamin Miliakovsky, also known as Netanyahu, which Netanyahu is not even his last name, for the following reasons, starting with violations of international humanitarian laws, murder and torture, targeting and killing medical personnel, as well as ambulances and medical facilities, torturing prisoners of war and subjecting them to sexual violence and starving them. The murder of civilians, torture, and starvation has also been used against them. That's just a few of them. The list goes on, and the evidence is staggering. It's all over social media. They have video evidence. They have photos. You name it, all the evidence is there. Israel has dropped more than 70,000 tons of bombs on the Gaza Strip since last October. That's far surpassing the combined total that was dropped in Dresden of 3,900 tons in 1945. That's in World War II. In Hamburg of 8,500 tons in 1943. And in London, 18,300 between 1940 and 41, all during World War II. They have dropped more bombs Israel has on this tiny strip of Gaza than all these 3 major cities in World War II. I feel so ashamed to involuntarily be a part of a aider and abetter, as well as all of you people. And honestly, I haven't seen much of you say anything about this. It's really disappointing, and I hate when I hear things on the news like Pete Ricketts saying our unwavering support for Israel. How does that even make sense? They're breaking all the rules, all the laws. The rest of the world is uniting now against America. This is a big threat for you guys and for all of us. And we're just civilians. You guys are the people that are supposed to speak up against these type of things that are injustice. I just wanted to say, may Allah have mercy on us on the day of judgment for what is happening to the Palestinians and has been for the last 75 years. May the Palestinian brothers and sisters forgive us. Inshallah, on the day of judgment, the children will testify against those who did that to them. So, Zionism, for me, it appears that Zionism, or appears the Zionists are Nazis disguised as Jews who have hijacked the Jewish scripture and their religion and have weaponized it. Zionism is humanity's greatest threat to democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and human rights in general. The Nazis didn't stop their agenda for global domination after World War II. Except this time they're faced with a whole new challenge where the whole world is turned against them. It occurred to me on May 31st, 2024, that the angels of Allah destroyed the demonic spirit of Zionism when humanity decided to meet at the heart in unity for the sake of life in another part of the world. These are strangers to us, complete strangers. We've never met them. At the end of the day, we all decided to meet at the heart because for the sake of life of these Palestinian children, the women, the men, this is unjust. This is absolute chaos, and this cannot go on. I ask you guys to please reach out to people like Pete Ricketts, Jim Pillin, Mike Flood, everybody, and people in Congress to arrest Netanyahu when they bring him to Congress to deliver his speech. This is a war criminal. This is a person that's a threat to everybody. They think they can do whatever they want. It's unacceptable. It's disrespectful.
Time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is anyone here left to speak?
Madam Chair, I would move to adjourn.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Duden. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Duden,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes,
Motion carried 6-0.
we are adjourned.